Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nericus Ryan, and today I'm joined by
Nathan Nerdark.
Eric Stave.
Narcus Ted.
And in this Unearthed Arcana review, this class is crafty, and it's just our type. We're going to talk about the Artificer.
Hey guys, jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So it's time to delve into the Artificer.
Woohoo!
Eberron time!
And we're talking a legit Artificer, not this Pansy Wizard tradition version.
Yes,
Or just 5 levels of it. We get a full 20 levels, boys.
they went full kilter on this one. They gave us 2 different Artificer specialists. We get a gunsmith
And an alchemist.
and an alchemist. Kind of weird they went with gunsmith, as you know, especially
As a
if you,
choice, yeah.
especially if you know anything about Eberron. But you know, hey, it kind of works. I don't know if they're kind of like trying to ride on Matt Mercer's gunsmith that he put out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we see... Guns wouldn't be horrendously out of place in Eberron, so maybe they're just going to full steampunk ahead, Arcana punk, steampunk of Eberron.
I mean, even though it's not an Eberron discussion, but no, it would be out of place because why guns? You have magic. You've replaced technology.
Well, I mean, you're making
things.
making magic bullets and stuff. So I mean, really, it's almost like it's the artifice that person is.
Yeah, well,
focused
It's
on.
technically a mini magic item / technology item all in one.
It's like a mini cannon, really. Like, it's a little
Well,
cannon.
actually,
that's higher level.
Yeah.
So-
It gets to be.
So let's like tear into this sucker, right?
All right.
It is very skill heavy, especially when it comes to tools.
indeed.
So it's we have a die 8, so yeah, that's pretty standard for the like support roles. The good saves, Constitution, Intelligence, that's kind of a biggie.
Yeah. It's handy for concentrating on things. So.
Proficiencies in light and medium armor, weapons, simple. And here's where it's kind of interesting with the tools. They get thieves' tools, makes sense. And then 2 other tools of your choice. And then for their skills, they get to choose 3.
Yeah, they do get a lot of skills when you think about it.
3 tools and 3 skills.
Some of them are a little weird, too, for the skill choices. For me, deception and religion don't... all the rest make a lot of sense, but deception and religion, they don't really seem like they play too into the skill set or the tropes of what an artificer is in my head.
Yeah, I'd have to...
I mean, sure, it does talk about, like, evil artificers and what they might be about, but that's not going to be the sort of
staple.
norm. That's going to be like, all right, this guy's a dick, and he might have criminal background or something. But...
Well, for alchemy, I could see religion because that's kind of like a you're doing sciencey chemical stuff, but you're also just like a spiritual quest in a way.
you
There's
could
a
take
spirit-
an acolyte background.
There's a spirit component to it
Yeah.
in alchemy, so I can see that. But
Yeah.
so maybe that's why it's religion.
All the other things I could see: Arcana, history, investigation, medicine. Like nature is like like maybe you're using like natural materials to figure out for your alchemical stuff. Sleight of hand, you're very dexterous, so nimble. Sure, you could palm stuff.
They just needed another intelligence-based skill to throw in there. They are a partial spellcaster. They're not full spellcaster. They only get up to 4th level spells, no cantrips. They have spells known, and their spells. Well, I guess they are calling them spells.
So they must suck, right? They must have nothing else interesting if they're not a full caster, right?
Pretty much,
But at first level, they do get access to detect magic and identify that they can ritual cast as much as they want.
Yes.
I'm just joking because they get some really interesting choices.
And then it gets more interesting from there. It's also one of the classes you pick your expertise, your specialty at first level. Just like the cleric.
But you miss a very important step that a lot of spellcasters fail to be able to do. They don't need the 100 gold piece pearl to cast Identify.
Yeah.
They just do it.
They are 100 gold piece pearl.
So, I think that's an important thing that at first level they can get right into.
Part of your initiation is keystring the pearl, and that's why you always have difficulty. It's just happens.
That's how you get into the guild.
Yeah.
I knew
They just haze you, and that's just
in Dave's game that was something that Relion had to deal with. And back when Pete was actually playing the game, he's like, "All right, I can get this for you. You just have to make sure that you consider me with the magic items and stuff." So it was funny.
So at second level, we see something we have not seen before, and that is a expertise that is specific and limited to tools.
Yeah. Tools and tools granted by this feature. So at max, you'll ever have is 3 expertise granted from this class. So also, this class gives you essentially various magic items that you get access to just because.
2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Over the course of
5 of them that you get as you level, and the idea is you're tinking away at it and making it. And eventually, by the time you reach the appropriate level, you have access to it. It's a really neat thing. And the class is kind of built around having access to magic items and being attuned to it
So
later
now
on.
there's good and bad, in my opinion, about this. Logically, I look at this and say, okay, let's say second level, I've mastered my formula for bag of holding, and I've successfully made one.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not able to say? Why isn't there rules for I can spend X amount and make another one?
Well, it was kind of answered in the Sage Advice, and basically the question was, what do you do if you lose it? SOL.
Yeah.
You don't make another one.
Normally that doesn't happen in classes. Normally the classes have stuff built in. Like the worst thing that can happen to somebody is like a wizard losing his spellbook. For the most part, the class stuff is built in and you can always access it. So this is an instance of some really cool benefit, but you're kind of out of luck if you... It's a class benefit that you just never get back, pretty much, if you lose it.
In some ways, it's kind of like a ribbon ability, because when you're talking about, getting an item, like you could get that through the game. You don't need that as a class ability. If you have a stingy DM but he lets you play an artificer, yeah, that's great. You're gonna get the stuff. But if you're playing in a campaign where there's stuff going on all the time, eventually you're gonna be like, that ability is not so useful anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you could do, too, like, where, since you're talking about the stingy DM having an effect on it, you could do a thing where you kind of get the arcane formula to be able to make these things, but it takes a ton of time and a ton of fiscal resources to do it. So it's like, you get this one for free. If you ever lose it, then it's like this exponential multiplier of time and money to be able to make another.
Right, but if we're
it-
going by raw,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
get another one.
Yeah.
No matter what happens to it. If a dragon eats it, it's just gone.
So yeah,
So,
there's some cool choices.
As you
along
mentioned,
the
you
lines
get spell casting at third level, and you get spells from first through fourth. No cantrips.
And you also get your artificer special ability. But I guess we'll get into that once we get into the specific archetypes, the specialist. At fourth level, improvement, normal, but you also get infused magic.
Indeed. And this is the one that allows you to put a spell into something else, and thus, here's this cure wounds.
Oh, thank
You use it when you're ready for it.
That's the least interesting part of the infused magic, because you can go here's this coin, cast enlarge on yourself when you want to.
Or blur, or
You're a fighter or a barbarian, but you can't be raging. You now also hold the concentration.
That is very nice.
You're going to give the classes that are actually better at concentrating, more than likely because they're not a caster.
yeah.
Not counting the artificer, because he actually has a good concentration.
Yep.
Saving throw.
The thing I was thinking about is like I believe a barbarian actually can't concentrate while raging because
That's what he said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not while you're raging.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So it gives you a way to distribute your spells with concentration on them throughout the party.
So it's interesting. A lot of stuff that they did with this build of the Artificer, it harkens back to the 3rd edition. Like they did a pretty good job of updating the Artificer to what I remember from the Eberron campaign setting. The Alchemist version, either or. Like in some ways they track pretty well from what I remember the 3rd edition Artificer doing.
Yeah, I'm actually digging it. 5th level, superior attunement, and this one breaks the game.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but in the sense that
It's a rules exception.
Yes.
Right. So
that they get to do something
The
else.
Rune Mage did the same thing, but it went up to 4, but it had to be specific to the rune stones. And those rune stones were pretty sweet, if you ask me. Here, you can, if you take this all the way, you get 6.
Yeah, eventually.
then-
So even better, be an artificer and get runestones. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
6th level. This is another thing that's really cool. We actually have another video kind of based around this one coming later, and that is the mechanical servant.
So you make something big, because it's got to be large, And we actually, in that video, I thought it was up to large, but no, it specifically says it's got to be a large creature, up to challenge rating 2, and you have your own construct.
Right, and it has to be a beast.
Yes.
And and that was also confirmed by the designers that yes, it was intended to be large. You can't make a medium or small or tiny.
Yeah. So one interesting thing I hit upon, and I just wanted to double check. So with the expanded item attunement, because it does allow you to be attuned to up to 6 items, 5 of those items technically come from your Wonders invention. Like, so you would either choose to not attune to these to rather attune to other things. And I'm sure not every single item here requires attunement, but some of them are going to. And so it's a choice of, do I get something pretty sweet in the adventure, or do I fall back on the thing that I get by my class?
Now, I will say, at the same time, it is magic items that you can distribute amongst the party as well.
Sure.
Or if you have that option in your game, you could possibly sell them. We also, dead level, ability improvement, specialist feature, Wondrous Invention again. So we don't get anything new until 20th level.
And 20 is...
Well, right before 20th, there's something worth noting.
Oh, go for it.
It's only because it's different than the other classes. At level 18, they actually get their ability score improvement,
Right.
1 level before everyone else, and it's just how it worked out.
Yeah, you get to stick your tongue out at everyone else.
Yeah, until next level.
Yeah.
And then Soul of the Artificer, that is really cool.
So this harkens back to your superior attunement, and you essentially have the ability to get a +1 to all saving throws for each item that you have attuned. So if you got 6 attuned items, that's a +6 to all saves.
Eat that, Paladin.
And the things you're proficient in, so that's a +12 to those proficiencies.
Without stats.
Before stats, exactly.
So like,
and you're going to have a 20 intelligence and probably 18-20 con. Like,
with this type of character, I would so want to take the
straight 20. Like, this is a good class to go straight 20 with.
well, I was saying like the feat that actually gives you another saving throw.
Oh, yeah?
Because
Yes.
they're like, all right, yeah, I'll have a +12 without stats to half of my things.
Yeah.
Well, dexterity is a pretty safe bet.
You're already getting con intelligence. So
Well,
you're gonna
depending upon what you're facing, Dex or wisdom. I mean,
Yeah,
Why
either.
not
Yeah.
both?
'cause you
You
can't.
can't.
Oh, that's right. You can only take them once.
Yeah, so that's definitely a very cool thing. With that, let's get into the actual archetypes.
So we have the alchemist, and this is one that I actually look at this and say, okay, there's 2 different things that have been done here. Not only do we have the hardcore mechanics for the class, but some of these things are they harken back to earlier editions.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
the
like, oh.
10-foot bag.
Right. So it's like you could actually have these things as quote unquote permanent items being sold in the shop by an alchemist NPC. Now,
But if you're a PC, you can't sell them.
well,
No.
because they're trying to get away from that, because here they have, it's a duration of when you take the thing out of the bag. I think these are supposed to represent more the cantrippy type things.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so Pathfinder did a pretty good job of explaining it with their alchemist class, where they're just saying the things that they make are so unstable that without constantly attending to it, it's just going to go dormant and not work. They used magic, Wizards of the Coast used magic to explain it. I actually prefer the pseudoscience explanation of like, yeah, you kind of have to keep putting reagents in it and tinkering with it to get it just right to throw it and have it explode and do the thing you want to do.
The one thing that is a little odd is you don't actually get the toolkit alchemy lab.
Well,
You just wing it.
You still have to take either.
Well, that's why you have religion. You pray to your God. That you
Well,
can
no,
destroy it.
because you get 2 other tool sets from your core class. So it's like, do you want smith's tools to make a gunsmith, or do you want alchemical supplies to be an alchemist?
You get 3, but yeah. Oh yeah, thieves tools and
you get
2 other.
you get
yeah.
thieves tools and 2 more, and you get to choose them, so that it's not forcing you. Oh, you get smith's tools and alchemist tools, and every flippin' every flippin' artificer has access to the same thing. They give you the choice. I like it.
Maybe, but if you work in a certain profession, you guys have the same skill
Right,
set.
like it might say it maybe the alchemist should specify you get this, so your choice could have been 1 for the base class.
It's like
is
being
what we're
like
saying.
it's like being a computer programmer and go, nah, No computers.
No
I'm not learning
use.
that.
Yeah, I'm Amish, is what
Well,
I'm saying. Like I don't deal with technology.
Dealing with computer programmers, there's like loads of different languages, just like there's different loads of tool sets. This guy knows Java, that guy doesn't because he's working in something else.
And
Yeah, but the alchemy
even in,
is- yeah, computers is the
even in
common-
chemistry, there's like
Based
metal
on-
chemistry, there's alloying, there's inorganic, there's
So,
organic.
like,
There's
I would
all kinds of
imagine
stuff.
that if you're going alchemist, you probably took alchemical supplies as one of your tool sets.
I won't.
Hey, you got a magic bag. You don't need it.
I just think it's
I'm
funny.
gonna take land vehicles actually.
Well, I mean, this is pretty much giving it to you in a sense.
Yes, you don't. You really. What are you gonna do with it? Make alchemist stuff other people can use.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget that.
But that being said, there is a bunch of cool stuff you get to do, and these brews you make or the formulas you make actually kind of replace cantrips
Yeah.
for the most part. You get alchemist fire, alchemical acid, healing draw, smoke stick, swift
Well,
step
so
draw.
two of them you get, and then you have choices to make. as
Yeah,
you go
later
along.
on you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
more Tanglefoot bag, Thunderstone. So a lot of these we're seeing from previous editions. They've been reworked a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the Alchemist Fire gives you a radius attack. The acid gives you a single target attack. Now the one bad, and then you get a bunch of things that are more miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Now the one problem, and buffing. The one problem with these is they do scale, and they scale really well. They're potent, but they're all pass or fail. So either you make your saving throw or you don't. So on a pass saving throw, your enemies don't take any damage.
Right. So the safest one is the healing drop, because who's going to want to saving throw against getting healing?
Well, there's no saving throw, but you can only drink it once per long rest.
Is it per long rest? Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
can only
it's-
hand out
it's
one
a- yeah.
one of those.
Well, you
to
can
each.
hand out as many as you want, but just one to each person.
Yeah, that's essentially it puts a natural cap on that.
And the guy ate at 19th level.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty sick. So the other minor qualm we had is Thunderstone. Like, I feel like that should force a concentration check. Like, Thunderstone of old, like, it would deafen people, so it would make it harder for them to cast spells because they can't hear the incantation they're making. So, like, maybe forcing a concentration check equal to your DC seems like a good way to go as far as that goes.
Or, I mean, deafening them until the next round would be
Something.
something.
Yeah.
But on the other side, the swift step draw is kind of interesting because it just increases movement for somebody, which you
Like,
can hand off.
to a Tabaxi. You hand that off to a
Yes.
Tabaxi, and they do their double movement thing.
Win the relay. Win the relay.
Then they can abandon the party, which you will die horribly.
Yeah.
But you saved the tabaxi.
You
Thank
did-
God.
Yeah. They had an important message to deliver.
So and basically all of their stuff is really just geared around the different formula that they get to use, and they're all pretty cool and thematic. I imagine everyone's going to take Alchemist Fire and Acid.
Well, don't you automatically get those two?
Yep, they're starters.
Oh, they're the starters.
Yep, and at third you can pick a new one, right?
Yes, you get those two and then one other choice, and then you learn an additional formula of your choice at 3rd, 9th, 14th, and 17th.
So I think you get like another 6 choices or something.
It's like they
Yeah.
knew
So you-
everyone was going to take acid and fire.
You're gonna
So they just gave it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you basically miss out on one of them.
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, you can't get all of them.
So close.
Yeah, there's 5. Yeah.
And that's when you create the feat where you get one. You have one you can use once a day or something.
That's the same thing with like the sorcerer meta magics. It's
Yeah.
like they get way less choices than there are things to take. So you're like, damn it, I have to like not take 3 or 4 of these.
You can't catch them all.
No.
But in this case, you're only missing out on one. So
Yeah,
that's nice.
it's way different. It's a less of a Sophie's Choice sort of situation.
So that brings us to the gunsmith.
Gunsmith. This is my boomstick.
Or thunder cannon. It's really cool. At first level, you're forging a deadly firearm, and you're using magic and
Well-
knowledge of engineering and metallurgy. It's pretty neat.
But before that, you gain proficiency with smith tools, and you learn mending cantrip.
Yes, and mending cantrip. I always like that, but I never take it because
So-
I need to deal damage. Damn it.
So this does give you a 4th tool proficiency.
Yes.
This one does.
So that's a lot of expertise going around if you go gunsmith.
See, and I guess that's the other thing that makes it really weird that the alchemist doesn't get
Yeah.
get the alchemy lab.
Yeah. They did not want to give you the
Yeah,
home
that's-
chemistry lab.
Okay, now it's a bit peculiar because the gunsmith gets.
If I made an alchemist, all he would do is make home pregnancy tests. You want to know what you're expecting?
I don't think it
Oh,
works
boy
that
or girl?
way.
No, just home pregnancy tests, actually. Yeah.
So the thunder cannon's pretty powerful in Pumpty.
This is the thing that essentially is a cannon, and it really gets to
Of
be a
thunder.
cannon.
It shoots a greatsword worth of damage at somebody.
I believe in our character build video, we misname it and call it a boomstick.
Well, no, I mean we called it a thunder cannon, but we were having fun calling it a boomstick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I misnamed it and called it. You guys will find out later in the week.
It actually shoots T-shirts too.
Yeah. So the thunder cannon, it's interesting the fact they made it a ranged weapon. So that means anything that affects a ranged weapon, you can use it for sharpshooter.
Sneak attack.
Sneak attack for a rogue.
Yeah.
Even a single level dip. If you want to be a rogue that has a weapon
That does 2d6.
that does 2d6, it's not a bad dip.
Yeah, although we were talking about the scalability of this, like staying with the class damage-wise, there's lots of incentive to do that. I mean, you do one thing really well, and that's blow things up in the face. Like that's what this class does.
Yeah, what I'm saying, my thing is like the dip into Artificer, good.
Yeah.
Dipping out of Artificer, not as
No,
good.
yeah, not as great.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
have a
having
lot
a-
of things that end at 19th level, all except that 20th level awesome ability of
Artificer.
Artificer.
Yeah, so it wouldn't hurt your rogue at all
Yeah.
to take the one level dip. Going the other way, not as cool because when you get the third level, you're going to just you just add damage to your attack.
Yeah.
Thundermonger.
You basically sneak attack all the time.
Yeah, Thundermonger is pretty.
So the
awesome.
Thunder Cannon is great, but it doesn't have the loading property, but it says you have to use a bonus action to load it.
Yeah, so
So-
it basically means there's no feat that's going to get you around that bonus action cost, which was a smart move because otherwise there would be a ton of ways to break this build if you were to dip out into other classes. But the stipulation of you got to use a bonus action really helps out.
So it's going to be one of those things that anything that relies on a bonus action, the gunsmith is not gonna want to go in that direction.
So again, you have Arcane Magazine. It's similar to the Satchel, where it's where you're pulling your stuff from. And is there a gold piece thing that goes around with
Yeah,
it?
if you bust it or lose it, it's 25 gold pieces to.
To remake another one, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
You're also carrying a ton of ammunition. Like unless you're fighting like off a siege or something like that, you're pretty much set.
Yeah,
If you are fighting a siege, like you're gonna need some more ammo.
You have 40 rounds, and in a short rest, you produce another 10.
Yeah.
Considering you essentially get one attack a round, we figured out some ways that you could get 2 attacks in 3 rounds, or 3 attacks in 2 rounds. But other than that, for the most part, you're probably not going to run out of ammo. And if you're in a siege, you have time for short rests and getting more ammo.
Yeah. Other people can die on the country's behalf.
Yeah, I'm
The
done
keeps.
bullets.
Well,
Yeah.
that's where you get your Thundermonger and your Blast Wave in on there. Kablam!
Speaking of which, we have the Blast Wave. Oh, we have to mention the Thundermonger, which that is basically I sneak attack all the time.
Yeah.
And eventually you're adding 96 to your attack, so that's 11d6
At 19th level.
at 19th level when you hit somebody.
As your standard attack, blam.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
Well, as an action.
As your action.
Yeah.
Well, at night.
They've worded this really carefully. Like
Well, in
the
order.
reload is really a bonus action that allows you to reload rather than the reloading property.
Well,
And Thundermonger is an action you can make a special attack, not during your as an attack action or anything like that.
Oh, that's true. You could not combine Thundermonger. You're right. You could not combine Thundermonger with multiple attacks in any way because you have to make the special attack.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
so-
really good at blasting one thing in under Thundermonger.
that, and in order to be 19th level and as a gunsmith, you really aren't getting extra attacks. So
Yeah.
Well, there's that too.
Well, I mean, to take it all the way. But if you wanted to say, well, take 5 or 6 levels of any fighting class to get 2 attacks. I mean, a Bard of Lore even. I mean, a Bard of Valor will get it too as well. So
I feel at third level, as far as your abilities go, you kind of peak. Like those abilities keep getting better.
But you don't really do anything else.
Well, you do, but here's the thing, right? I'm pretty sure that you're going to do attacks. Wait a minute, on a failed saving throw twice. Oh no, I'm absolutely wrong. I was thinking that on all the other attacks that you didn't do any damage on a pass saving throw. That is actually just the alchemist. That's like that. Which is
Oh,
that's
yes,
another
that's right.
thing to point out on the alchemist. A lot of his things, if you pass your saving throw, you don't take any damage. But on the blast wave, it is a 15-foot code, and I thought it was the same way. But apparently, you do actually do damage if they pass the saving throw. No, I'm wrong about being wrong.
yeah, it says on a failed saving throw,
Yeah.
target takes 2d6 force damage and is put 10 feet away from you.
Yeah, half damage. Like there was that Q&A article basically that says if there was half damage from a successful saving throw, it would tell you. So
Yeah,
So
this
they
is-
excluded it on
This is like the inverse save or suck. If they save, it sucks for you having spent your round. But that being said, you have cool abilities all the time. So.
Yeah, this isn't a per use. This you can just do it all the time,
Yeah.
but it never does that much damage. So I don't think it's really a big deal. 15-foot code
Yeah.
for 4-6 at 17th level.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
With a pushback. Yeah, so maybe that could stand to have a half damage for it. We could look at some of the other ones here too.
I think it has more to do with you get spells as well. So this is kind of, you have your Thundermonger attack, which doesn't have a save. It's just you hit them or you don't, and then you have all these excess ones that are just use them, but you do have that. Basically, rather than hitting them, you're saying, hey, make a save to see if I've struck you with this. So it's kind of like a reverse. They've got to save rather than you trying to attack.
Yes. And then on 14th level, you also have a line effect, which is basically essentially a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Saving throw.
And then the fireball of the bunch, starting at
The
17th level.
explosive round.
Yes. So you can channel fire engine energy into your thunder
Fire
action.
engine energy.
Fire engine. So you channel fiery energy into your thunder cannon. As an action, you can make a special attack with it. So that's going to get a 30-foot radius. So a nice big fireball does 48 damage if they fail their save.
I like that. You gave it a little bit of a Shatner reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. After doing that shit.
So one of the things that would make these guys a little bit better is if they just had the ritual caster ability.
Mhm.
Because they do have quite a few spells on their spell list that are rituals,
Yeah.
but they do not. So you have to spend spell slots to do them. On the plus side, you can always infuse items and carry them around and let your other party members use them.
You could just also take ritual casters, one of your feed options.
Yes, there
Yes,
is that.
you could.
You get enough, you're not going to be using it on things like Crossbow Expert is the one where you get the reload property, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah, you just need the one that's going to give you the far shot.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, you
Yes.
just need sharpshooter with it with that
But
one.
you are definitely going to be taking the one for that extra save.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. If you think your game's going to go that long.
That's true.
But
Resistance and sharpshooter, those two, then stat bumps, or maybe ritual caster if you want.
I would say that, yeah, as an artificer, you're definitely going to benefit from being able to free up your slots by.
Well, I mean, it also if you have another caster in your party who has a ready stable of rituals, then it depends what the mix is. If you're the only caster, ritual caster is smart. Otherwise, you could be straight up artillery.
Well, and I'm just looking at all the spells they do get access to, as far as being able to hand out tokens to the other players. Be like, here, use this when you want to.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing with this caster, right? They have those other things that they can do, but they don't actually have to cast during combat if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
could have basically did all their casting and be like, all right, guys, here's your stuff. You use your action.
As
I'm
far as
shooting
action
things.
economy,
Yeah.
Yeah, if everyone can activate like a Shield of Faith or a Blur and Haste and all that kind of stuff,
Although,
and you
that
can just do
being-
your own thing, like Stone Skin.
That being said, as far as action economy is concerned, a fighter who gets extra attack or any warrior character, they're missing out the ability to make those attacks by expending their action. So it's a hard
I mean,
game.
so someo's still paying for the action.
Yeah.
But if you're going to buff the party during a tough fight or something, everyone can buff
Or
themselves.
you say you only have one round.
Oh, yeah.
You hand it all out before. All right, we're ready to do this ambush. We do it now. We all
Everybody
activate
break the
our
glow
thing,
stick.
and then we go.
And besides, it's like, I'm a gunsmith. I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Thundermonger or something. I'm gonna do 11 dice 6. I ain't got time for casting spells. So with that, what do you guys think of the Artificer? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
You also find us over on Instagram.
You can patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.